Unit 4. Jobs. Recording 1. 1.
Have to. I have to get up early.
2.
Have to. Do you have to? Do you have to work at weekends?
3.
Have to. You have to be decisive.
4.
Have to. Don't have to. You don't have to stay.
Unit 4. Recording 2. Luca.
Well, I've always loved sport and swimming. As a kid, I used to spend all my free time in the summer on the beach with my friends. We would swim or surf or just play about in the water, and there was always a lifeguard there on the beach, and I used to think, "Oh, what a brilliant job." So when I left school, I trained to be a lifeguard. I really enjoyed the job for a few years. In the summer, I would work on the beach, and then in the winter, I would go skiing. It was my dream job. I loved it. But after a while, I started to get bored. I was just on this boiling beach all day, watching all the beautiful people, but I couldn't really enjoy myself, you know. I just had to stand there and watch, so I knew it was time to find something else to do.
Nicola.
I used to be an ice cream taster, and for a while it was definitely my dream job. I mean, can you imagine anything better than sitting at work, eating delicious ice cream all day? I was in heaven. I was working for a big company with a team of food scientists, and our job was to come up with new ideas for ice cream flavours. So I suppose that was the problem, because a lot of the time we had to try new flavours like curry and lime ice cream or cheese and sausage, and we would have to taste it. And usually it was terrible, really disgusting. Now, most people would just say, "Yuck, I'm not eating that again." But unfortunately, when it's your job, you have to keep tasting it to see if they have made it any better. Sometimes we would taste 30 different ice cream flavours before lunch, so it wasn't all good.
Amy.
I was a professional shopper for a while. It was good fun at first. The lady I worked for was a television presenter, and she needed outfits to wear on television, but she didn't have time to go shopping. So I would go out and buy clothes for her, and then she would try them on at home, and I would take back anything that was no good. It was a fascinating insight into how some people live. But as time went on, I realised she was impossible to please. One time, I had to buy her an outfit for a special event she was going to, and I bought her a few different things to try on. But she didn't like any of them, and she was really furious that I hadn't found her something different. It wasn't really my fault, but I lost my job soon after that.
Unit 4. Recording 3. 1.
The food here tastes so good.
Yes, it's delicious.
2.
It's over 30 degrees outside today.
I know. It's absolutely boiling.
3.
Was your girlfriend angry about you being late?
Yes, she was really furious.
4.
The view of the lake is really pretty.
Yes, it's beautiful, isn't it?
5.
Do you find the job interesting?
I think it's absolutely fascinating.
6.
It's hard to understand what he's saying.
I know. It's impossible.
Unit 4. Recording 4. 1.
I used to play football when I was a kid.
2,
I used to practice every day.
3,
We used to live in London.
4,
I didn't used to like classical music.
5,
My father used to take me fishing.
6,
I used to ski, but now I snowboard.
7,
We used to go to the cinema a lot.
Unit 4, Recording 5.
Okay, so we're looking at plans for the new cafe. First of all, we need to decide on the location. Then we'll look at what kind of food we are going to offer and possible names for the cafe.
Yes, that sounds good.
Okay.
Right, let's focus on the ideas we had for the location. We looked at some options last time, but we need to make a decision.
I liked the one near the station. It would be really busy during the week when everyone comes in for work. But what does everyone else think?
Yes, I think the station idea is good.
I think we need to decide on the kind of atmosphere we're looking for. The location near the shopping centre would be a really nice place to visit at the weekend.
I'm not sure that I agree, actually. The way I see things, we need to choose the location which will give us the most custom. And I think that will be the cafe near the station.
And it's cheaper.
That's a good point. I suppose so.
So, shall we say we'll look at the location near the station?
Yeah.
Yeah? Good. So, moving on to the next point. What kind of food are we going to serve? What do you think?
How about an Italian cafe?
I'm not sure. We talked about Italian, but there are lots of other Italian cafes around. I really feel that it would be hard to make ours different.
Okay, good point. I think we should think about something different then. Any ideas?
Well, I was thinking about a Portuguese cafe. You know, with delicious cakes and pastries. There are quite a lot of Portuguese people in this area, and tourists too. I think that style of cafe would be really popular.
Yeah, Portuguese cafe. I think that's a great idea. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
that's a nice idea.
Yeah.
We could do Portuguese-style lunches too, for office workers.
Yes, maybe. So, are we all agreed? A Portuguese cafe?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
sounds good.
Okay. Okay, let's recap. A Portuguese cafe selling cakes and lunches located near the station, right? So, what would we call it? Cafe Express?
I'm not sure about that. I think we need to come back to the type of cafe we're establishing. So, Cafe Portugal or something like that.
Why don't we call it Café do Sol or Café Lisboa? Café Fado.
I like Cafe Lisboa. I think it sounds really good, and Lisbon's a beautiful city.
Cafe Lisboa. I like it.
Yes, that sounds good.
Okay, we're running out of time. Let's sum up what we've decided. It's going to be a Portuguese cafe. We think the station location might be good. And we like the name Café Lisboa. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right.
I think so.
Okay, so we'll need to decide on the...
Unit 4, Recording 6. 1,
I think we should decide on a name.
2,
That's a good point.
3,
I see what you mean.
4,
I suggest we focus on the location.
5,
That's fine by me.
6,
I'm not sure that I agree.
7,
Why don't we think about it?
8,
What about a name for the business?
Unit 4, Recording 7. 1.
First of all, we need to decide on the location.
2.
Let's focus on the ideas we had for the location.
3.
So, moving on to the next point, what kind of food are we going to serve?
4.
Okay, let's recap. A Portuguese cafe selling cakes and lunches located near the station.
5.
I think we need to come back to the type of cafe we're establishing.
6.
Let's sum up what we've decided.
Unit 4. Recording 8.
I'm a pharmacist, so I work 6 days a week. The pharmacy opens at 9 a.m, but I need to be at work before then so I can get everything ready. I usually wake up at about 6:30 so I can get the kids up and ready for school, and then go for a run before work. I have to leave home by 8:30 at the latest. The morning is the busiest time in the pharmacy, so the first thing I do when I get to work is start preparing prescriptions so they're ready for customers to collect. It's a community pharmacy, so I know a lot of the patients quite well. As well as giving out medicines, we try to give advice on healthy living. I think people really appreciate being able to talk to someone in the pharmacy and get advice or treatments without having to see a doctor. I usually have lunch at about 1 p.m. Sometimes I bring my own lunch, and on other days I like to leave the shop and wander around. I might buy something to eat or even try out a new cafe. The area near where I work is really nice, and I often bump into people I know. In the afternoon, I try to catch up on all the admin tasks that need doing. I check my emails and upload information to our website. I often take phone calls from receptionists, nurses, and even doctors from the local surgery, checking information about medication. I leave the shop at about 5:30 p.m, but I usually make some deliveries on my way home. Some of our older patients can't travel to the pharmacy themselves, so they rely on this service. I try to be home by about 7 o'clock, so that I have time to read to the children and put them to bed. I'm usually too exhausted to do very much in the evening, so I generally just cook supper and watch some television. And then I like to plan my next day in my head before going to bed. It's a long day, but I love my job.